This is Charlie Parsons for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on DAZN. Man like Gareth Davies joins me this Monday evening. For most people watching, it will probably be Tuesday. How are you, sir? I thought you froze, but it looks
I'm
like
very
you're
well, thank
staring
you.
me down.
No, I was teasing you. I wasn't. I was just sitting very, very still. It's been a very long day. I've been filming today. I'm about to go and swim, as you know. You've probably had your run. I know
I
you took Mama out for breakfast. Mum just made you dinner. I love it. I love it. I love the relationship. Our mother, no one loves us like our mother, you know. Not our mother because we haven't got the same mother, but like our mothers. Um, but I am very well. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. I just finished filming with the brilliant guys from We Go Again today. The guys who made the Day of Reckoning, Ring of Fire, Knockout Chaos, Battle of the Baddest documentaries. It's coming out again actually in December, a redoing of Fury Usyk-1. Just been filming with them today. What a lot of fun. Very Guy Ritchie today down in South London. It was great fun. I can't reveal any more, but actually had to do a little bit of acting today, so it was really, really good fun.
you do
I
live
do
some life,
love,
Gareth.
by the way, Charleston. The I love the fact that this paradigm has been shifted in the making of the documentaries with the Saudi Arabians around boxing events, and the trailers are more erudite and more filmic, and they're Guy Ritchie and it's zombies. Don't you love all that?
I think it's fantastic. I think that the trailers and everything that have been brought in have been very exciting, a bit refreshing, a breath of fresh air to the sport.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
why on earth are you going swimming at 9 o'clock?
Because the sessions in the pool I go to are available till about 3:30 in the afternoon, and then they begin again at 9 in the evening. There's a session in the evening. And I missed my session there this morning, so I was just rowing for 15 minutes instead. I got there too late. I didn't realize. So the good thing is if you go swimming and you do lengths, 25-meter pool, 50-meter pool. I go to one in Cambridge outdoors. It's 90 yards. It's the longest outdoor Lido in Britain. It's like every time you do a length, it's like 100 meters. It's really long. So if you do 15 lengths, you've done really well. It's outside at Jesus Green. Do you know Cambridge at all?
Oh, I don't, Gareth. I don't.
Jesus Green Lido, and it's a really long Lido, and it's outdoors, and it's quite cold as well. So you've really got to battle. Why? So that's why I go at
I
this time
like
of
a
night.
bit
And
of cold
also,
water therapy, actually.
oh yeah, it's amazing, really good for you, and it's good for all your organs. And I'll be honest with you, this time of year, and I've done a half a mile for the last 2.5 weeks every day, half a mile a day. I did a mile one of the days, but that's a push. I think that is 60 meters, 60 lengths. And I'm brutally honest with you now. And, there's lovers and haters that watch all these videos, but people will watch your TV show as it is. It's like a TV show, isn't it? This time of year, when the clocks go back an hour, it's dark early. We're speaking now at about 8 o'clock in the evening. It feels like 11 o'clock at night, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
There's that weird effect on you. And as a hunter, not a gatherer, I don't like hunkering down when this season comes. I like to be out and doing things. And I do get that seasonal depression disorder at this time of year. And when I'm in the city, I want to be out in the bright lights till late. But I'm out in the wilds, in my own land, on my own land. And to go and swim at this time of night is actually a lovely feeling for me. I go out, swim, shower, get back at 10:30, and I've been out and I've done something. And it does. I'll be honest with you, it really will help my mental health, and I'm going to try and do it
I
as much as I
respect
can
you
through
for that,
this
Gareth,
season.
because that means you're winning up here.
Yeah, but it was either that or rent a place in the Canaries or Thailand for 4 months and fly back for fights. But maybe I'll do that next year.
That don't also sound like a bad idea, to be fair, Gareth. I have
You
to.
been for a run today?
I haven't, bro, but I I had a very busy week of training last week, and we'll be back on it tomorrow.
But when this weather close, when you're in the car
Hmm.
or you're out and it's raining and dark at 4 o'clock and you can't see a lot, and your visual, your optics, everything reduces. Rather than you're seeing the beautiful countryside till
I
9
think
and
that's
9
more
p.m. at
reason
night.
to get out though. Like I remember being really
Yeah,
productive last winter with my running in the evening time because I
yeah.
felt more like I don't know, me and my mate would go out when we were training for the marathon. We felt harder in a weird way doing it at night time.
And amazing that you're running out in the rain for an hour and a half, and it's 7 in the evening, and you're out there, and you're not hunkering down. You're not in the cave. You're not in the burrow. You're not in your house watching EastEnders or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So you're. I don't know. I just think having that thing to do outside makes you feel more vibrant.
Man like Gad coming with the positive motivation for the Stomping Ground viewers this week. We like it. As much as I could probably sit here and speak to you about all of those things, I feel like we should get into some boxing discussion. Jack Catterall versus Regis Prograis, a fight of two halves. The first half was I don't want to say strange, but it was almost like what you get when you get two tricky southpaws coming up against each other. And the second half ended up being a bit of a brawl. What do you think, Gareth?
I had Regis Prograis five points up after 6 rounds. Believe it or not. No, after 7. Because was it the 7th round? Let me get very quickly. Let me get my scorecard. I don't know. I won't wander over there and get it. Regis for me, I had a 10-10 early on. Regis winning most of the first 7 rounds. He had a 10-8 in there when Jack touched down. And then Jack just took over. And Jack had a 10-7 and he won all the rounds to the end. His last 5 rounds in this fight, even the first 7 rounds, I had him winning 114, 112, by the way, not as wide as the
Yeah,
judges had
the
it.
cards on the night were a bit wide.
Yeah, if I'd given him 5 and 6 that were both close, I think, it would have been 116, 111 or something like that, I think. No, 116, 110 or but he clearly won the fight. He was elite level with his footwork, the way he made Regis miss, how he came on strong in the fight with his defensive shell. He's a really, really difficult guy to fight. And this was two southpaws, remember? So it's always, they're both creating weird angles. I thought he was magnificent. There are tiny signs of wear and tear with Jack as well, I think. Um, but I thought he was brilliant on the night, and Regis gave everything. Prograis gave everything, and I'm really pleased for Catterall because everybody considers him real world champion material, even though he's never held a world title extraordinarily and probably should have been the undisputed champion.
I suppose just on the fight itself, Regis, who's had an incredible career. You know what I find nice about Regis? He always speaks so um just honestly. There's no bullshit.
Gentlemen,
Never get any bullshit
gentlemen.
with Regis Prograis. He always says it how it is, and to hear someone speak as he did in his post-fight interview, saying that he might be going to BKFC and that he could feel that, he's not really a 12-round fighter anymore. Now I think he's probably still got a few more in him, whether that be if he moves up in weight to 147. Probably not at the level he wants to compete at, but a valiant career and a great post-fight interview.
He's a very, very classy human being. I have had the pleasure of, you probably have, of meeting several of his family members and his wife, and lots of family members other than that. He's always struck me, got to know him pretty well when he was fighting Josh Taylor a few years ago. And he's always struck me as someone who will go on and do great things in life. He'd done wrestling with alligators and things like that, and he goes motorbike scrambling, and he's one of those guys that tries a lot of different things. As I say, he's got a great soul. I think he's very honest about it. He hasn't really got a lot left. I understand him going to bare knuckle. I've just signed, as I told you before we spoke, before we started recording, that I've just signed a deal to to do media work, voiceovers, commentary, and some interviews for 10 BYB extreme events in the next year. I'm really looking forward to that. I've been really taken by bare knuckle as well. I pioneered a lot of mixed martial arts organizations in the past, Professional Fighters League, Bellator, UFC at the beginning. And it doesn't surprise me at all that he wants to have a go at it. And I imagine, just imagine, I'm really delighted to be on board because I think it's going to really grow. Big Mo's working on that organization with me, Claudia Trejo, Paulie Malignaggi, Mike Goldberg. Can you imagine Dillian White and Derek Chisora fencing a slobber knocker with bare knuckle? I mean, you're not going to not watch that, are you?
You definitely watch it.
Exactly. So there's a lot of matchups that are going to be made with guys coming to the end of their career now. And there will be, as it grows, people who rather like mixed martial arts or boxing choose a discipline and stick with it. And I think people will develop as bare knuckle fighters. And it's an ancient art, a dangerous ancient art.
Gareth, what's next for Jack Cattrall?
Probably the winner of Liam Paro and Subriel Matias. Eddie Hearn seems to be hinting at that. A trilogy with Josh Taylor is there as well.
Liam Parra and Richardson Hitchens, right?
Oh, sorry, Richardson Hitchens, not what am I on about? Richardson Hitchens, the man with two surnames, Richardson Hitchens. But he is though, isn't he? He's a man with two surnames.
That's quite good, that, Gareth.
But it's true. It's easy to confuse the names. To confuse his name. Sorry, it's Hitchens. I got that completely wrong. Hitchens is number 2 in the division, number 1 in the rankings.
Ranked highly with the IBF.
Yeah, it's a good fight. That very strong, very powerful. I think they're both Eddie Hearn stable, aren't they?
Promoted
from
both
memory.
by Matchroom.
Yeah, so that's a great fight. Sorry, winner of that. Why did I think it was Subriel Matias?
Because that was the fight lost by Manitz in Puerto Rico.
Oh, correct. Yeah. So, yeah, well, I think he gets a world title shot next. He's a very, very difficult guy to fight. Look at his patience in that contest
How
against Prog.
Teofimo Lopez? I know that he's now going to be number 1 with the WBO, I would like to say.
He's as tricky as Cattrall is. So it could be a fight with low punch counts, but a very, very interesting chess match. I don't think Devin Haney's going to fight him. I think Devin Haney will wait out for Ryan Garcia to come back. Obviously, he's WBC champion in recess.
The only person that could make that fight between himself and Jack Cattrall would be His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. I thought it was a bit of a random tweet.
The truth is, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, who has, in fact, today, it was the 28th or 29th of October.
God, yeah,
when Fury and
Ngannou
fought Battle of the Baddest, wasn't it? In a year, the greatest transformation in my lifetime over a year. In my lifetime, I think. Well, maybe not. I was born in 65, so maybe not in my lifetime, but certainly in my working life in the sport.
You were born in
biggest
65?
transformation. Yes.
Wow. Respect, Gad. Still got that same hustle, bro. Tyson Fury, Andy Lee's come out with an interview and said there will only be one voice in the corner this time round. I don't know why my camera's lagging so much. Yeah, only one voice in the corner this time round. What do you make of that?
I just want to make sure this is fine because it just went to me on camera then. Yeah. And what do I make of it? As we correct, I think all is well. Yeah, there will be unless another voice is required. I think Sugar Hill and Andy Lee, does that mean he's getting rid of Sugar Hill? I don't think so. Sugar Hill was at the press conference the other day. Big John Fury wasn't, but he didn't need to be there.
Sorry, excuse me. He said Sugar Hill Stewart will be the only voice, and that there was a lot of voices before that they were in a dire situation.
But if Andy Lee feels there's something deep to say, it will need to be said. but it will be Sugar Hill's 60 seconds between rounds. There's nothing wrong with that. He's vastly experienced. He grew up under Manny Stewart, the late, great, brilliant Manny Stewart, one of the great trainers. I think he had 42 world champions, Manny. I mean, obviously picked a few up that had become or were on their way or were regaining world titles, but he's a very, very special man. Did you know Manny or not? Were you not around then?
No, no, no.
No, you weren't around. He was very, very special. And, even as a journalist, he always had time for you. I went to his hand wrapping class once in London on Park Lane. It was a brilliant afternoon. I got my certificate somewhere. He was a man that wanted to teach you how to do things, and he taught Sugar Hill. A lot of people denigrate Sugar Hill. I don't know why. But he's been there, seen there, and seen it and done it. He's learned from the very best because Manny's where Manny belongs in the pantheon of great trainers in America, and that deserves recognizing in Sugar Hill. I think it's good. I think it means that's one of the little adjustments that maybe needed to be made after the last fight because of all the talk of the shouting and screaming and the converse opinions going into those last couple of rounds, or certainly into the last round. So they'll get their shiz in order. We saw that last week. It's a very cool, calm, and collected Tyson Fury who's preparing for Oleksandr Usyk.
I saw he did an excellent interview with me. I saw he did an excellent interview with you. I thought the way he was with the media all day seemed really good, actually. We know
Mm.
that they're in camp now. Camp's underway. All systems are go. Tyson, we always know like you've got to take everything with a pinch of salt that Tyson says, and there's no disrespect in saying that. That's just Tyson. He's a showman. I spoke to Shane Fury. And Shane Fury said, well, if he doesn't change anything, the result's going to stay the same. He needs to sort of put it on him a little bit more. Tyson says he's going to knock him out in a press conference. Then, when he's speaking to me and you, he says that he doesn't need to change anything and he'll get a decision. Usyk will never take anything from that. I mean, how do you think Tyson's best chance of winning the fight is?
Well, it's purely down to boxing now. I don't think, Charlie, that it's he can't do that thing that you do sometimes, which is go heavy stomping ground at Eddie Hearn and play mind games with him, and then he plays mind games back with you. The mind games are over. And we
Mm.
saw that at the press conference last week. There's no mind games. There's respect from each other going into the 13th round. He knows when he watches the fight back, and he has watched it back. And that's where Shane is very realistic. When Shane told you that, Shane is a plain and simple truth speaker. 7 rounds in, Tyson was dominating the fight. And they know that he needs to go in, dominate early, and keep going. He needs greater conditioning, sparring conditioning and fight conditioning for the second fight, because Oleksandr Usyk has proven time and time again that in the last 4 rounds of a fight is almost when he's at his most dangerous. He's going to come forward and do his bam, 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 three-hand stuff, largely left-handed, try and walk Tyson down. Tyson's got to meet him in the middle more, but not get caught coming in and not overreach himself, which he's very good at. I think we're in for a really, really close fight again. I bet it will be very even with 6 or 7 gone, with both having ascendancy, and it probably will come down again to who's got it in the final third. I think Fury will be more conditioned for. I spoke to Greg Marriott, his nutritionist, and Christian Blacklock. You'll know both of them, his strength and conditioning guy. He had the cut on his eye, and whatever he says, the cut on his eye will have affected the sparring from here up in the last camp. It will definitely have affected him. Whether the passing or whether Paris's illness, the high blood pressure in the week of the fight, and he didn't get to see her, affected him, I don't know. He says it doesn't, that he's single-minded when he goes in. They need to have a pure camp where he's deeply conditioned to shift the final third of the rounds, because that's, as I say, where Usyk is strong. Usyk, I think, will do similar things. I think he might work even harder in there, might have a faster work rate and look to make it 12 rounds. Fury's got to make the adjustments to win the fight in what was regardless of the optics of round 8 and particularly round 9, a very, very close fight.
I suppose just on the other sort of
What
side,
do you think? Do you agree with any of that?
I agree with most of it. I still to this day, I think I can't quite remember what I scored it now. I think I had it by two or three to Usyk, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I had it 114, 113 to Usyk.
I can't remember now exactly, but I always felt like Tyson needed to go in there a little bit. Almost, I know it's very different fights, and no one's asking my opinion other than yourself, but almost Wilder 2-esque, and just try and go
Yeah,
and stick it on him a little bit.
yeah, I think he needs to do that, but he was sticking it on him in rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Mm.
Do more of that. I
He,
agree.
he
I
was
need to,
he was pushed on the back foot too much for a big 6'9" guy.
but also he's good off the back foot as
He is,
well. I mean,
he is, he
you
is.
know, that he put his hands on the ropes, Ali-esque, didn't he? At one point, you know, he, he. When I sat with him, when I stepped in to interview him with BXNTN, Box Nation, Box Nation TV, I tried to abbreviate it, then it didn't work. Um,
And then just gave him free shout outs instead.
I gave him three shout outs. That I said to him, was there a level of complacency there after the midway point? And he agreed. I said you got too comfortable in there. I remember writing about it. He said there's a word for it, complacency. There won't be any complacency this time. We're going to find out what legs Tyson Fury has got left in him at his age now, in his mid-30s. If he's got it in him and he wins on points this time, or even stops Usyk, and I think a points decision is more likely. I think it'll go 12 rounds. We're going to get a trilogy, aren't we? Because we need to find out the defining guy of the era. Or maybe in between, he'll fight Anthony Joshua.
Well, on Anthony Joshua, it looks like, I say it looks like, we're never sure, it's all speculation at the minute, but Frank Warren said they wanted some clarity regarding Daniel Dubois' next move sooner rather than later. It looks like AJ could sit it out for the time being and wait on the result of December. I don't hate that. I think it's probably the sensible business decision. Do you agree?
Completely agree. I completely agree. And I've argued that the whole time. Wait it out, see what happens between Usyk and Fury. Um, Daniel Dubois has got other fights he could have out there. I'd really like to see him fight Joseph Parker. I mean, I get wind of there might be talks for that fight. I think it's an incredible fight. They are the two fighters with the most momentum in the heavyweight division right now. Maybe outside Oleksandr Usyk because you can't really discount him. Look what he's done.
Mm.
But they're both very active. It's a terrific fight. Um, Joseph Parker's knowledge and expertise and experience, former world WBO heavyweight champion, Daniel Dubois, now the IBF champion. Joseph Parker deserves a shot at a world title with, is it 5 wins on the trot? I think it is, if you count the Jack Massey win in about 17 months. I'd love to see that fight. I don't know if they're actually talking about it, but that's a fight I'd love to see. And I think if Tyson Fury wins or loses against Oleksandr Usyk, I think it'd be nice to see the Anthony Joshua fight next because then we get that fight. It's a worthy fight. It's bragging rights in Britain.
Both
It's
coming
still
off
an enormous
losses,
fight.
there's that bit more sort of in it than if Joshua was to get stopped again. Do you know what I mean?
Let's not delay it anymore. Let's make it happen. And I do think we're talking this into existence here. I do think, if we talk about this, we're talking with promoters' hats on as well as fans' hats on, and if Anthony Joshua pulls off what feels like the improbable and knocks Tyson Fury out, then he gets a tilt at Usyk for a third time. If Fury beats Joshua, he then maybe gets the chance to fight Usyk for the third time, and we find out who the best guy in the era is. As Daniel Dubois and Joseph Parker, as slightly younger men, fight it out.
Gareth, I think just lastly from me, we've not got loads more until the year end. I say we've not got loads more. There's still our fair share, but as this peaks and troughs with boxing a little bit, we go into a little bit of a quieter patch. Now, that quieter patch doesn't necessarily mean that there's not as much boxing on as such, but not as much star-studded events. But still, regardless, I think as always, a fantastic time to be a boxing fan.
Well, I mean, let's go through it. We've got an amazing fight between Sonny Edwards and Galal Yafai. Really looking forward to that. I've
Fantastic.
reversed my view on it. I picked Galal originally, but Sonny Edwards eyeing me up and refusing to shake my hand has made changed my mind about that, and I've read a lot into that.
You flapped
Not
it, Gareth.
not in an sorry.
Have you flapped it?
No, I've taken the psychological readings from him that I really like Sonny. I think he's a very special human being. And I took it personally in the right way when he wasn't happy about me picking Galal Yafai, that maybe I've overlooked him. And I really want to go back and check that properly. And I may have made a hasty call remember, I have to pick professionally for a living with people like William Hill. So I'm going to go back and revisit that. And Sonny is a very special boxer and human being in my view. I think he's an incredible human being. So there's that fight. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm probably going to go out to Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, which will be a circus. But it's fascinating and it's tragic in some ways that Mike Tyson is going to box, and I'm quite sorry about it. But I feel I should be there, given how long I've been involved in the sport, and a guy from my generation is doing it. As I've told Jake Paul to his face, I hope he knocks you the fuck out. Yeah. And Jake found it very funny. And I said, I reckon he'd get it done in 4 minutes. He said, 4 minutes is a very long time. On that same night, Oscar De La Hoya has got a fabulous card in Riyadh season, which you'll probably be going to October the 16th, I believe it is, 16th,
Yeah.
with Zardo Ramirez, who was a very, very good super middleweight or light heavyweight. I think he was a
Super
super middleweight
middleweight,
originally. I
wasn't he?
remember
It wasn't
covering
even a
him.
light heavyweight.
Yeah, I remember
Then
writing
he moved
about him
up
as
to
a super
cruiserweight.
middle. Very, very clever lefty,
He was meant
strong
to
guy.
fight Callum Smith at super middleweight.
That's right. That's right. That's right. But both same stature, 6'2", 6'3". Very strong puncher. Loves a scrap, but can box really well. Billum Smith is the yeoman of the cruiserweight division, who you cannot deny. God, I've picked against him too many times.
Oh.
I
You
still
picking
don't know who
against
to
him
pick in this
again?
one. So then you've got that card. You've got that card. I think that I mean, I can't talk about the February cards yet. We've got
Got boots
so
and
I've
Billy.
got a bare knuckle event in Wolverhampton on November the 8th and 9th. I've got a couple of Warren management cards. I've got a big boxing event in Qatar on the 14th of December. I
Qatar?
can't reveal who's on it yet, but there's some amazing names on it.
Really?
Yeah. And then obviously out to Riyadh on the 14th. I'm busy for the rest of the year. And there's even this weekend, Liam Davis against Shabazz Masood is great fun.
Who's that?
And Liam Davis, for me, he was on Talk Sport with me on Saturday night, and he was calling out Noya Nui if he wins this. He wants a featherweight fight with Noya Nui. I think there's a lot going on, and I think we've missed a couple of events there as well.
Monaco, Boots and Bam,
Boots
Subriel,
and Bam.
Subriel Matthias, Liam Paro,
It's not
Richard.
that bad, is it?
No, I didn't say it was bad, Gareth. I just said it's a little bit quieter in the UK shores.
Yeah, maybe it's a good point. But this is a global sport,
That
and
is.
it's. So I recall a time when I was traveling to the United States 12, 13 times a year, literally every month, for two Floyd Mayweather fights, for Manny Pacquiao a couple of times. Ricky Hatton was on the move there. Amir Khan was
Amir
on the
Khan,
move
yeah.
there. We were in LA a lot because Amir was at the
Do you
Wildcard
know
gym.
Amir much?
Amir Khan.
Yeah.
I've known him since he was 15.
What a cool guy.
Oh, he is. He's
Very
an
cool guy.
amazing human being. You've got to remember with Amir, just to finish off, he was the first. Your generation, there's so many Bengalis and Indians, and these are all Brits, by the way,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
origin. I mean, Pakistani, Arabic, Yemeni, Indian, Bengali guys, all boxing now.
Yeah.
And Amir was the start of that. And he was such a he hasn't got a bad bone in his
He
body.
hasn't, does it? He's such a
He's
cool guy.
not got a bad. He's scared of spiders. Mummy gets rid of the spiders. Farial is a beautiful girl. He loves his family. I got a real deep love for Amir Khan, and he was a warrior. He had no fear when he fought. And he would always sit with us when he was pissing blood the next day when he fought Terence Crawford. He wanted us all up to his apartment in New York. And servant to the game, amazing guy in charity work, doing work all over Pakistan and in Africa. He's an amazing guy. Like that's the thing to remember about Amir. No fear, fight anyone, scared of spiders, not a bad bone in his body.
Gareth, that is so true. He is a good friend of the channel, and I cannot reiterate your words enough. What a genuinely cool guy. And a
No,
great way to
absolutely.
end. Gareth A. Davies, thank you very much for your time. Look at us, we've done it in unison. Man like Gad.